If you have ever hired a coach, a trainer, and done everything they said only to end up in a worse place than when you started, on behalf of this industry, I am sorry. My name's Jared. I have spent the last 15 years coaching thousands of high-achieving women to not just lose weight, but to also completely heal their relationship with food. And the majority of the clients that come to us have already been through the ringer with other coaches who have burned them. Here's what I can already tell you. It was not your fault. You did your best. You put your money where your mouth was and trusted this person. But every time you struggled, the coach kept coming back to effort. Work harder, be more consistent, you have to have a stronger why, and you just have to want this. And that tells me everything behind why this didn't work. Because consistency is the result of having the right plan in the right relationship with food, not the starting point. And when a coach treats it like one, that tells me they never understood why you were struggling in the first place. So give me the next 10 minutes or so, and I'm going to walk you through every red flag that tells you your coach was never equipped to help you in the first place. This way you never waste your time or money on the wrong approach ever again. Red flag number 1, they kept coming back to effort. I know we already touched on it briefly, but I want to go deeper on this. You have to understand that when a coach keeps coming back to telling you to just work harder, to be more consistent, have a stronger why, or that you have to really want this or be committed, that is not a coaching strategy. Now, don't take this out of context. Yes, you have to work hard, be consistent, have a strong reason behind what you're doing. You understand that. But when a coach just comes back to telling you those things, but don't actually coach you on how to do those things, that's the problem. Because as a whole, that is a very wrong way to coach. Because the right way to coach is, instead of saying, oh, just work harder, this tells me we need to get to the root cause of why this is such a struggle for you. They need to actually take a step back and go, wait, here's how to be consistent. Here's why consistency isn't happening. So let's adjust the plan. Let's get to the root cause, and let's actually get strategic and specific on how to implement X, Y, Z so you can be effortlessly consistent. If you're struggling enough where the coach keeps coming back to your why, have a stronger why, remember why you started, have a why that makes you cry, all that stuff, that tells me, no, we need to scale the plan back because it's too much right now, or there's something below the hood that we need to address that is getting in your way mentally and emotionally. Or the one that pisses me off more than ever is when they keep going back to, well, you just have to want this and be more committed. Why are you here? You are committed. You do want this. If we zoom out and look at your track record, you have been trying to make this happen for as long as you can remember. So that tells me if that's the case, we need to go, all right, well, where is this too much? Where do we need to step back? Where do we need to adjust the plan? What's coming up that is a big roadblock for you? So we need to adjust things accordingly or go deeper and find another mental or emotional block. Again, it is never, let's just put more effort in this thing. So if your last coach did that to you and their only coaching strategy was just work harder, I'm sorry, you deserve better than that. The second red flag is you knew deep in your gut that what you were doing was not sustainable. I am very bullish about if what you are doing to lose the weight to get on the other side of this is not sustainable, it is not worth doing. I was just chatting with a new client this week who was telling me their last coach, she knew she couldn't do what they were having her do long term, but she struggled because she was trying to make it happen, but she found herself, and what she told me was that she was trying to convince herself, no, maybe if I try really hard, I can make this sustainable. You know, maybe I don't have to have carbs forever. It's not that big of a deal. And there was this like internal negotiation, even though her inner wisdom was trying to tell her, no, this is not sustainable. It even got to the point where her coach was telling her, no, this is sustainable. No, you can do this forever. But at the end of the day, only the client, or you in this case, can decide for yourself, is what I'm doing actually sustainable long term? So then to figure out if what you're doing is actually sustainable, we have to pass what we call the 10-year filter. And it goes like this. The 10-year filter is, if I cannot do what I'm about to do, the diet or plan, for the next 10 years, I will not do it for the next 10 days. So you have to ask yourself, is what I'm doing so sustainable I could do it for the next decade? And that is an either pass or fail. It is a yes or a no around which one it is. And if it is not sustainable enough for the next 10 years, don't touch it for the next 10 days because it's not worth doing. A narrative that is taught to a lot of coaches is to have your clients do something really unsustainable to get them motivated and off the ground in making some progress, and then switch to something sustainable later. But that doesn't work on any playing field. Last time I checked, nothing is more demotivating than getting all these results, and then when you switch to something sustainable, you regress and gain your weight back. That one has never made sense to me. Because if you found yourself having to white knuckle and really work extra crazy rigid just to stay on track, then that plan was never designed for you or sustainable. Which brings us to red flag number 3. They gave zero regard to your relationship with food, your emotional side, or your mental side. This one usually pops out when they are just talking about like eat less, move more, or here's your macros, here's your workouts, but there's never really any conversation around whenever you do reach for food, or whenever a binge happens, or whenever you had an emotional eating session, or you know what to do but don't do it. And they never got to the actual root cause around, well, what's going on with that? Let's have a conversation. Let's put some things in place to get to the root behind that. Usually these coaches are just telling you to do this. And then when you struggle doing it, they never get to the root cause of why you're struggling or what drives that behavior. And that's when they go back to the beginning of this video where they just said, oh, just be more consistent, work harder. Because I want you to think of it like this pyramid, where most coaches spend their time living just here. Just eat less, move more, where it's just about exercise, nutrition, macros, these kind of things. But most coaches don't spend any of their time addressing the bottom of the pyramid, the base that holds this together. Most coaches are not giving anything around the emotional side, or anything with your relationship with food, or anything around the mental side that is driving the majority of your behaviors. Because if you think about the struggles that you have, eating food when you're not even hungry, knowing what to do but still struggling to do it, doing well for so long, but then out of nowhere, it just kind of falls off and you end up back where you started. But when you're saying, no, this is a reoccurring thing, this is always coming up, it goes back to more effort again. That's why the biggest red flag is, are they addressing the bottom of the pyramid, which is the most important to keep the pyramid stable? And if your coach is not working with you on the mental side of things, actual strategies, challenging beliefs, inputting new beliefs and identities, and overhauling certain patterns, or your relationship with food, that way you don't have food guilt anymore, that way you don't have food noise anymore, that way you don't have foods that you feel like you can't trust yourself around without eating all of them, or if they're not addressing your mental side, which controls almost everything for you, and how to handle your emotions without eating them, it makes sense why you may have gotten burned on your last coach. And again, for that, I'm very sorry. And I don't want this video taken out of context. Most coaches are very pure-hearted, but that doesn't negate that you're not getting the help that you need if these red flags are coming up. And then red flag number 4, they never got to the root cause. This one tees off at number 3 very well, because I want you to assume you are like this house. Well, if you're trying to lose weight and you're noticing problems, food noise, can't be consistent, weight gain, overeating, we'll say these are like cracks in your house above the ground. Well, if there are cracks above the ground and issues here, that means there are cracks below the ground down here. But most coaches don't ever get deep to the root cause. This is where they say, oh, just work harder. Just do like I do. Remember your why. Oh, you're binging? Just don't do that. Which is not helpful at all, because there are things going on psychologically, from a pattern perspective, from your childhood, from deep-rooted conditioning that you are not even aware of, that is causing things above the ground to become problematic. But this is just like buying a house. Before you go buy a house, you have an inspection done, and the most important part of the inspection is getting someone under the house to look at the quality of the foundation. And if it has issues, you don't want to buy the rest of the house, because you know the foundation issues only go up and cause the rest of the house problems. It is no different here. If you have foundation issues, you binge eat, you emotionally eat, you have mental food noise, you have a list of foods that you cannot keep in your house without overeating or without them calling you by name, you cannot go on vacation or a weekend without losing your shit. We are not, first of all, ready to lose weight yet, because we have to fix those, but you cannot fix those with more discipline, more willpower, or a stronger why. Foundation issues require a foundation approach to fixing them. This is why in our program, we have an entire first stage dedicated to fixing the internal foundation before we let our clients go into a fat loss phase, or in this case, start putting the walls up on the house. So if your last coach left you feeling broken, like you're the problem, but they never went deep enough with you to get to the root cause, you were not the issue, they were. And then we have red flag number 5, all their other clients aren't like you. Whenever we have a client applying to work with us in dieting from the inside out, and they tell me about their horrible history with other coaches, I can just tell by a couple minutes in that their coach didn't have any other clients like them, and it wasn't the majority. The reason this is important is because ideally your coach should have almost carbon copies of you in their program. And if not carbon copies of you, it should be carbon copies of your struggles and your goals as a whole. For example, in our coaching program, we work with 90+% all women. Another 90+% are all women over 40. 100% of our clients coming in have mental food noise, struggle with emotional eating, started dieting or watched their parents diet when they were just a little kid, have issues rooted in their childhood around food, have a horrible relationship with food, want to lose 25+ pounds, struggle with food guilt, would agree that they are successful everywhere else in their life except for food and their body. The reason this is important is because if they have a coaching program almost exclusively of people just like you or with your exact same issues, struggles, and goals, that is a very positive sign. But let's say I just described you and you go into this program and it's full of men and it's full of 20 to 30-year-old men and they're mostly bodybuilders or powerlifters or gym meatheads or people who don't have your issues, then that's kind of a red flag that that coach may not know how to help you. So I want you to look at it like a mirror. Does their clients struggle with food noise? Do their clients want to lose weight, or are they all about growing a bunch of muscle? Are their clients mostly women? Are they stressed and have a high stress life? Do they have childhood issues around food? Do we have similar goals, similar struggles? Are they exactly like you? And if they are not, then that's a red flag. The struggles that you have are not fixed with generalizations. They are fixed with specializations. So if your last coach was very much a generalist of just eat less, move more, work harder, here's a meal plan, here's macros, just be more consistent, it makes sense why your very specialized issue of constantly thinking about food, food noise, overeating, weight gain, childhood issues around food wasn't fixed. So there you have it. Those are the 5 red flags to know that your coach was never equipped to help you. So now that you know that, getting help in the future, you can avoid those same pitfalls again. Now, if this resonated, comment below which number hit the hardest that you experienced. And if you'd like to see the exact blueprint and step-by-step process we use with our clients, check out this video here and I'll walk you through the entire thing.